Jai Hind everyone, myself Dr. Inderjit Kaur, working as professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. In this lecture, we will be discussing the project financing in the project management and entrepreneurship. So, we will be starting from financial feasibility, then we will be doing a little for financial analysis, calculating the cost for the project, understanding the capital requirements, understanding what are the sources of funds, capital budgeting, and how can we cover the risk and uncertainty in our project evaluation. So, if we start with the financial feasibility, it is the process for identifying what is my overall investment outlay for the entire project. We are here determining the expected rate of returns, what and how in when I will be getting the return of my invested money, and evaluating the project financially. Financial feasibility, it is very much crucial to understand for any organization, because this financial feasibility, it is influencing the firm's growth in the long term, and also it is affecting the risk of the firm into consideration, and it is involving a huge quantum of funds. Then if we take, or anyone take in the team, a wrong decision with regard to investment, that can lay fatal to the existing entire firm. So it is very important to understand. So as I said, it is very important to understand, so it is very careful to analyze the cash outflow and inflow for applying any kind of capital budgeting technique. And how can we define this capital budgeting? It is the process of identifying, the evaluating and selecting a project that requires the large sum of funds, and it is generating us the long term benefits. Then these are the different steps for doing the financial analysis. We are starting with the estimation of the cost of the project. This is my first step. Then second is estimation the project cash flow. Then third is estimation of expected rate of return, and fourth is application of decision rule. Let us understand one by one. So the first one is the estimation of cost of the project. There are various components for the cost of the project. Mainly it consists of the two types of cost. First is my fixed investment, and second is my working capital. These are the important parameters. So the cost of project, it includes all the cost that has been incurred before we are commissioning to the commercial production. That is, before we go to the manufacturing projects or service projects. So working capital, it is defined as the current assets minus current liabilities, that is indicating the short term financial position of the organization, and it is very much important to run any kind of business properly. Then second, estimation of project cash flows, that is, this estimates the involvement of all the project cash flow during the life cycle of the project, and it includes what initial investments has been done, what is my cash flow generated during all the operations and the completion of the project. So we can say ki cash flow, it is the net amount of cash that has been transferred in and out of my business in terms of, I am talking about income and my expenditure done. So for the running profit, we desire a positive cash flow. That means expenditure are less and we are running more income, and it is very much desirable. Then third step is estimation of the expected rate of return. This is my third step in doing the financial analysis. So for financing any kind of project, there are various sources of funds. So we need to analyze that. We suppose karo, we design optimum capital structure for the firm. So the expected return for the project, it includes two components. My first component is the risk-free component. It is generally defined as the weighted average cost of capital and it should be low. Then second component is my risk component. First is risk-free and second is risk component. So it is the risk premium due to the investment and it is having high return. So we can define the rate of return as VF minus VI upon VI, where VF is my final value and VI is my initial value from which I have started, and this is defined as rate of return. We can say it as a net gain or loss of any company for the investment done for a particular defined time. Then next is application of a decision rule. This is the last stage of the financial analysis to apply the various tools for checking the financial feasibility. So capital budgeting techniques are applied to assure कि we are getting the profit and expected returns from the project. Then next is components of the cost of the project and how we are estimating it. We can say कि project is including all the expenses that has been done before we proceed to the commercialization for any project. So it includes all the capital investment that has been done, what are the different recurring expenses, like what is the salary is being given, interest paid, etc. That has been done for the completion of the project. So various components of the cost of the project as per the guidelines for the various financing and authorities, they are listed as, first is what are the expenses done on the land and site development. So it includes all the expenses that has been done on the acquisition of land and making it suitable for the project implementation. So the purchase of land starting from, then legal and registration charges, leveling, laying for the internal and approachable roads, boundary wall, gates, tube well and electrification and other miscellaneous expenses of the similar nature, so that it can be made feasible for the implementation of the project. Then second, construction cost. This cost also include the expenses that has been done for the construction purpose. Then different factory buildings, like suppose we need production shed, boiler house, transformer room, generator room, laboratories, workshop, etc. So the various non-factory buildings, they can be warehouse, making a store, security house, workers room, parking, office room, administrative blocks, canteen. So they also include in the cost of the project. Then the various plants and machinery. Generally the biggest cost in manufacturing projects, it is the various imported and machinery that is being required for its erection and foundation cost. So we will be considering the basic cost of the component, custom duty that has been paid for the shipment from the vendor to the site, then foundation cost and various piping cost. So it all is being included and it covers the major part. Then the various technical know-how. But to make the machine working at the site, transfer of technology to the workers, that is included in this one. Then utility, they are the common facilities that are being given to the plants of the same organization. Then boiler, compressor, generator, whatever basic facility is required. Then miscellaneous fixed assets are also being counted, counting the furniture, computers, vehicles. Then preliminary expenses, that is they include the market survey, public issue expenses and interest during implementation. Then preparative expenses, they include the normal expenses such as salary, rent paid to the commercial production. It also includes whatever is being paid to the traveling company, formalities, trial running costs, etc. Then various contingencies expenses, then margin money for the working capital. Working capital is generally financed through the short term sources of my finance. Then next is how we are calculating, how we are estimating the working capital. It is being defined as the operating capital. So how can it be very adequate? So the higher working capital, it means underutilization of funds, or we can say a lower working capital, it means we are hindering from smooth operations. So the various determinants of the working capital, they are, suppose we are having raw material inventory, then suppose we are having work in the progress inventory, suppose we have finished the goods inventory, suppose there are too many debtors, or we have so many cash, that is less bills are being payable. So let us understand about the project cash flow. So the project cash flow, it differs from the financial cash flow whenever we are running operations. So the project cash flow, it can be classified into three types. First is my initial outlay, then we are considering is the operating cash flow, and then terminal cash flow. When we are talking about initial outlay, that means we are considering the fixed investment plus working capital, and it is generally the outflow in the starting first year. Then operating cash flow means we are counting EBIT minus tax plus whatever is being depreciated. It is my generally inflow, and we count it from my first year to nth year, in which year at present I am, where EBITDA is defined as the earning before interest and cash tax. Then terminal cash flow, it is the salvage value plus working capital, and we are considering it as a inflow for the nth year. So the operating cash flow, it is calculated without considering the interest as an expense. Initial outlay, as we have discussed, it is before the project starts, when there is a capital enhancement or increase in sales, then we will say ki there is additional outlay in the next year. So we should be careful for computing the working capital that will be made available in the next years. Then initial outlay, it is generally considered as the 0th year, but sometime we require additional working capital in the next years also. Then in the succeeding years, we may cause it the addition or subtraction depending upon my working capital. Then the operating cash flow is also defined as the non-cash flow expenditure. Salvage value and redemption of working capital, it is considered as the terminal cash flow in the last year. And the sum of these three flows, they in the corresponding years, they termed as the project cash flow. Here the calculation has been done. It is my 0th year, the initial outlay F1 plus WC. My project cash flow will be the sum of these three. Then in the first year, additional working capital is being added here, and it is operating cash flow is defined as EBIT minus tax plus depreciation, and project cash flow is calculated again the sum of three. Then in the succeeding years, we are considering all the components of my initial outlay, operating cash flow and terminal cash flow, and we are calculating the project cash flow as sum of the above three components. So here we can see F1 is my fixed investment, WC is my working capital, depreciation, and then salvage values. How can we define the risk now? Risk is my unplanned event that has been occurred now under any circumstances, and it may affect one or some of my projects for our meeting the project objectives. this risk is considered as positive if it is affecting our project positively, and it is considered as negative otherwise. So there are separate risk responses strategies for the negatives and positive values. The objective of a negative risk, is to minimize the impact of the negative risk while meeting the project objective, so as to maximize the chance of its impact. We may also hear two more risk terms, that is, the risk can come under known category or it may be unknown. So known risk, they are defined during the identity risk process, and unknown risk, they could not be identified. Then a contingency plan, it is being made for the known risk, and we will be using the contingency reserve to manage it. But when there is coming unknown risk, through a workaround using a management reserve plan. Then uncertainty, it is a lack of complete certainty. It is the outcome of any event that is entirely unknown and it cannot be measured now. Uncertainty is not at unknown risk. It may lead to completely lack the background information even though it was being identified. Then managing the risk, it is much easier because we can identify them and then we can develop a response plan based on our experience. But managing the uncertainty, it is very much difficult. Based on our previous information, it is generally not available, and we may detect many parameters, but we cannot predict the outcome of the uncertainty. So conventional risk or uncertainty management, they involves basically the two components. First is the assessment, that is comprising of threat identification, classification, prioritizing it, and then managing the control for the assessment. Then applying all the controls. There are various types of risk that may occur frequently regardless of the specification of the project. So these risks include, first is in terms of cost, then second is in terms of schedule, and third, it may trigger our project performance. So when we are talking about the cost, that is the risk of the events that is impacting my budget, especially the cause of the project that will be completed over budget. Then schedule, if we are having unplanned scheduling conflicts, then that project will be delayed, and because of that delayed, the lack of schedule will be there. Then performance, the risk of event that causes the project to produce the result that are inconsistent with the project specification. They all three, they are interrelated also. Then question comes, how can we protect a project from my unplanned risk? It is the task of project manager that can follow by ongoing risk management processes that can help him to identify it, to understand it, to respond to the threats, and to take the various opportunities. So these plans, they derive the following steps. First is to identify the risk, then to assign the ownership, then analyze each risk, then prioritize it, respond it, and then monitor it. When we are saying identify, means the risk can potentially impact your identify the risk areas that can potentially impact our project. Then assign the ownership, whatever is being identified, assign it to a team member that can take care of those threats and may try to overcome from it. Then analyze each risk to potentially understand the driving factors that are being involved and what are the potential impacts can be for that project. Then prioritize project risk according to urgency and severity of the impact that can be caused. Then how to respond to your identified risk in accordance with your risk management approach by minimizing the impact if it is occurring. Then monitor our risk management strategies, and we should make the changes as are required. So this was all about project scheduling, managing the finance and understanding the risk. Thank you.